Hi, everyone, and welcome to the 16th Annual Global Ethics Summit, coming to you live from Atlanta, Georgia, and of course, streaming all around the world to our friends at YouTube, on LinkedIn, and of course, in the virtual attendee experience. Welcome, everybody. I am super excited to bring to you the BELA Chair, Erica Salmon Byrne, for a special live edition of BELA Asks. Now, for those of you who are uninitiated, BELA Asks is sort of a program within a program. Every week within the Ethicast, Erica and I get together and we answer questions. Well, really, Erica answers questions that are taken from the concierge requests placed by BELA members through Ethicast. Now, we encourage everybody to be a BELA member, of course. That is the very best thing to do. And one of the greatest perks of it is the concierge service, by which you can submit a question of any kind regarding ethics and compliance, and our internal experts will get back to you with an answer and possibly even some related resources that will help you further drive your interest in that topic. We like to say there's no competition in compliance. As always, most of these questions are particular to a specific company's needs. However, a lot of them speak to the high-level challenges and opportunities facing the business integrity space. So we like to use this opportunity to talk about them for the benefits of the discipline everywhere. Erica, it is so good to have you on the show again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, and again, Bill, for those folks who traditionally listen to you and I on the podcast or watch us on YouTube, we are not sitting like this at the same table.
No.
We're in our little boxes. So, Bill, you're here in person. We did it.
Exactly.
So excited to be here. So excited to be kicking off BELA Day at the Global Ethics Summit. This, of course, is a day where we really celebrate our community and try to bring them as much impactful and insightful information as we possibly can.
Absolutely. And because it's BELA Day, obviously it's just BELA members in the house right now. And we just want to encourage everybody. We have this episode we're doing right now. We'll be doing more BELA Asks over the course of the show. BELA members out there, please, if you have a question, if you see this episode and go, oh man, I would love to ask a question, but I don't know what the concierge service is all about. That's okay, because guess what? It's Global Ethics Summit and all the rules are off. So what we want to tell you is this: if you are in the chat, especially if you are here live, if you have a question that you would like to see Erica answered, by all means, please approach me, approach Erica, or just approach any of our colleagues, and they'll get back to us, and we'll make sure we answer your question as soon as we can. We would love to actually answer your questions as close to real time as possible.
Yeah, and for the 1,200 of you that are going to be experiencing the Global Ethics Summit virtually, just drop the question in the chat. That same approach us piece applies here. Bill, I don't think you can see it on camera, but Bill's got his laptop right here. We're going to be watching the chat. Last year, Bill, when you and I did live BELA Asks,
yes,
we got live follow-up questions to live questions during BELA Asks. So when we took them, and my coworkers still make fun of my excitement when I got a follow-up question to a live BELA Ask question.
Absolutely.
They turned it into a Slack emoji. So the people here at Ethisphere now have the option of using Erica bouncing in chair as an emoji that is my face from that moment. So we really mean it. Please drop your questions in the chat. We are going to be watching. Please, for those of you who are live, come on up. Ask Bill and I a question. We will record as many BELA Asks as you guys give us reason to record.
Absolutely. And one final note before we get into some questions you already have on hand, which is if you bring a question, we understand that a lot of the things that are tickling the minds of ethics and compliance professionals out there are potentially sensitive. They might be dealing with their own particular company. Please know, when we receive questions regarding BELA Ask, we anonymize all questions.
100%.
We do not want to talk about a particular company because that's not what it's about. We're talking about the high level pieces that are moving the discipline. And so we want to make sure if you have a question, you're not going to out yourself. It's totally cool. You can just bring it to us and we will not be mentioning who asked it to us or what company it's about.
Or even what industry they're in.
Exactly. Exactly. So we will make it as top of the mountain as possible. So with that in mind, I'd like to move on to our first question, Erica.
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
This is a fantastic one because we actually have it really kind of dovetails with the programming of this year's Global Ethics Summit. And the question reads: how commonly does E&C, does ethics and compliance, own discrimination harassment policies instead of HR owning them?
Yeah, it's a great question because we do definitely see a variation in practice, Bill, where in some organizations, it makes sense for the ethics and compliance team to be responsible for the harassment and discrimination policy. And then in other organizations, it makes sense for the HR team to be responsible for that policy. But I would challenge whoever wrote this question in to ask themselves, why does the ownership matter?
Yeah.
Right. At the end of the day, as an employee, I should not know, nor should I care from the employee experience who owns the policy, right? all of the company's policies, regardless of who's responsible for creating them, should really all be kind of happening in the same framework according to your policy on policies, so that my employee experience with that policy is seamless, right?
Yeah.
I know where to go to find the information I need. The policies all look like each other. They all sound like each other. My social media policy isn't like it's been written by some very smart, very bright 25-year-old, while my IT policy reads like it was written in 1970 on a Galactic typewriter in a smoke-filled back room, right? That should be the experience. And I would encourage, anybody who's kind of thinking this piece of things through. We have a really great track of programming here at the Global Ethics Summit this year, which has been one of my particular dreams for years, that we would have a programming track that is specific for HR and compliance as partners, right? This is one of your most important sister control functions, is your relationship with human resources. And if it's not good, you got to fix it, right? So we have a whole track for folks who are coming in with HR backgrounds, for E&C professionals who are interested in building a better relationship with human resources. And this was actually inspired by a BELA member last year who brought their global head of human resources to the Global Ethics Summit with her. And she was like, you guys need more programming for that.
Yes.
This is the fun thing about live BELA Asks, is I get to say hi to BELA people as they come up to
We're just surrounded by
approach.
friends here.
Right,
It's
we're
just
surrounded
friends
by
everywhere you go.
So anyway, for those of you who are out there struggling with this particular one, please take in that line of programming, because it's going to be wonderful. We've got some great speakers. We've got some great topics. And you can see that in the event app kind of tagged as that HR track.
Well, I definitely appreciate where it comes from, because this is not the first question we've received regarding the push and pull between ethics, compliance, and human resources. And you've got within any particular company, two very robust policy-making forces that they don't have to be rivals. They don't have to be beefing over turf.
They shouldn't be.
And they shouldn't be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And yet the fact that we get these questions tells me that those two functions don't always automatically align as much as everybody, I think, would like them to. So I'm super excited to hear about the HR track that we're going to have this year.
And I think it's good. For those of you who are listening in, who are saying to yourself, well, that description of territoriality, it kind of describes my relationship with my partners in HR. Please come to these sessions, because I think you will see in them what that good relationship can look like, and most importantly, why it matters so much. So it will give you the tools to be able to take to your internal stakeholders and try to improve that relationship. And it will further, one of my personal goals, which everybody will hear me talk about from the stage in about half an hour, where I talk about the fact that my objective for the Global Ethics Summit is that everybody leaves with 5 new friends and 4 new ideas, right? And so maybe this is your idea, right? Maybe this is the thing that you are going to do that says, I'm going to go to those sessions. I'm going to try to figure out what that secret sauce is for that strong working relationship between these two incredibly important and impactful control functions. And I'm going to think about what it looks like to make mine better. Absolutely. Because BELA members get to attend virtually very, very easily. This seems like a great opportunity to maybe bring along your colleague in HR and let them see what this is all about. It is a benefit of BELA, Bill. That is an enterprise-wide membership, right? We do not gate your access to our content. You don't have to buy a seat in order to attend. If you're a BELA member and you attend some of those sessions and you say, you know what, I really wish my HR team was able to hear this content, the content lives in the platform for 90 days. So, we can virtually register your HR colleagues right now if you want, so that you can make sure that they're able to take in that content on a replay basis. Exactly. Well, Erica, I have another question for you. Do you have time for one more? Absolutely. Let's do it. Outstanding. Okay. Next question is, what is a good example of speak up language? We talk about speak up so very often. I think this is more about like, okay, the question I'm getting here is I'm sensing somebody wants to take action, they want to lean in, but they maybe don't know what the actual words to use might be. Yeah. So this is another one, Bill, that gives me a lovely opportunity to talk about some of the content that we are going to have coming over the course of the next couple of days. So we have a wonderful culture team here at Atmosphere, and they have built some beautifully interesting and impactful workshops for both audiences. So if you're virtual, you have virtual culture workshops that you can participate in. If you're here with us in person, you have in-person workshops rather that you can take in as well. And we also have a culture corner here where you have an opportunity to interact not only with our culture team, but also with our product team to talk about culture. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to plug all of those sessions. If this is you, if you're saying to yourself, I'm wondering this question as well, be sure to take in that content. But to answer the question right now, Bill, from my perspective, the reason I think we keep getting these kinds of questions is again this historic push and pull between the whistleblowing language that we're all so familiar with,
right,
and the behavior that we're really trying to get people to do, which is to raise their hand.
Yeah.
Right. Whistleblowing has a connotation that in many cases is not a positive one.
Yeah. Shrill,
right? Shrill,
unwanted,
yes,
disruptive.
yes. Snitches get stitches, right? All of those kinds of
Yeah.
things. But really what we're saying to employees is it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to talk about something that might have happened that isn't great. It's okay to make a mistake and fix it, right?
Yep.
That's the kind of language that we see companies turning to as they are attempting to get employees to think about this critically important behavior in a way that feels a little less scary, right? A little less overwhelming. Many of you may have seen on LinkedIn, I posted about the book club, the internal Ethisphere book club we did on this wonderful new book called The Right Kind of Wrong.
Oh, it's so good. Everybody should read it.
It's so good. Everybody should read it. It's by Amy Edmondson, who of course is the creator of this whole, sort of concept of psychological safety. She's done a lot of the measurement work that underpins the argument that psychologically safe teams outperform from a financial perspective. So it's great language to use with managers who are like, okay, here comes compliance. One more thing that I have to do. No, actually what you're asking of them is it's the thing that's going to make everything else possible, is to create this kind of environment. But anyway, I digress. Right Kind of Wrong has some wonderful language around failure response and what it can look like in so many different contexts. So if you are an organization with a robust manufacturing context, go talk about quality control issues and how, from a environment perspective, your QC team has created a place where people say, hey, you know what? Like, I think there's something wrong with this one. There's a defect. There's something we ought to, take a look at. Talk to your health and safety team about near misses, right? How do you celebrate near misses? That's the language twist that we're starting to see companies take when they are thinking about this concept of a speak up culture.
Yeah. And some of the great things I've seen and really good examples of speak up language is that shift towards owning the whole process. You have talked about, whose responsibility is this? It's mine, right?
It's everybody's.
And when everybody kind of has that piece of, this is my culture, I'm going to defend it. This is my house. I'm going to defend it. Speak up becomes a lot less of an oppositional relationship between you and somebody who may be setting rules or maybe not be living by those rules, and more about you going, there are values I choose to live by. There's values we choose to live by to become a better, stronger, more ethical organization. And I want to defend that line. And that becomes more about your own investment in the process. And I think that's very empowering for everybody, regardless of rank, regardless of where you sit. And that language does a lot to kind of pass that along. So
yeah, without question. Absolutely. Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Well, look, I don't want to keep you too much longer because you're going to be on the main stage shortly.
Well, and for those of you who saw me looking away from Bill during the course of our conversation, I wasn't being rude, but Kevin is kind of standing off screen, signaling to me that it is about time for me to go put my mic on so that we can get this show started.
Exactly.
So, but as I said at the open, BELA members, send us your questions, right? Anytime I have a free moment, I'm going to hop on camera with Bill. I'm going to answer as many of them as I possibly can. So please keep them coming.
Indeed. Erica, it's a joy as always. Thank you so much for coming on to the show. Everyone, it's wonderful to see you once again here at the Global Ethics Summit. BELA asks, we'll be back during the show. Be sure to stay tuned. Bye now.
All right. Take care.